here. Uh, what's up, everyone? Carmine Denisco here. We are in January 2026. If you are listening real time, if you're following along with the show, welcome to New Year's 2026. This will be our first show of the new year. And I said, what better to kick it off with someone that you're familiar with if you are in this space. If you don't know him, you're basically living under a goddamn rock, I must say.
Yeah, really.
I don't
Seriously,
know how you
people.
would have known. Let's bring him on, Mr. Jim Debetta. What's up, Jim?
Hey, I was just saying the other day, I was telling one of my kids, when it was like the year 2000, it was like, what a big deal, Y2K and all that. And then to think like what the world would have been like in almost 2030, there's like flying cars and people like robots everywhere. And really a lot has not changed. I mean, all this AI stuff we talk about, but it's like I cannot believe like that it's 2020. It
Yeah.
just sounded like this futuristic off in the way crazy time thing, like Mad
Yeah.
Max stuff, like in 2000, and all of a sudden it's like 2026, and I'm like, holy crap, you know?
Yeah, I was laughing, obviously younger crowds, I'm old and all, but in the 80s and the 90s, I remember movies having, the 20s, 2020 or even
Yeah.
Space 1999 and you were like, "Whoa, oh my god,"
The
shows
only
it.
thing, the only thing that's changed is we've gotten older. Like
Yeah.
that's the change I see. But outside of that, cars are still mostly cars, and food is still food, and
Yeah.
shopping is still shopping, and products are still products, and all the things that we were doing 25 years ago haven't changed at their core much at all, really, which is
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
interesting
I would
too. Yeah.
agree with that. You can utilize tools. We were saying about AI,
Mhm.
everybody's talking about AI. There's different tools that are making things easier if you kept up on them. But the core of what we do, what most people do in business and things, you can reach more of the world, hasn't really changed. It's still business is business. You still have to provide value. You still have to do the right things. You still have to supply the products and services that people are paying you for.
Yeah, maybe in 21, 26, it'll maybe the AI will probably think for us and do things for us. We won't be around to see it. But like I think of it, inventors, Carmen, they still, and this is that time of year when a lot of people sort of take stock of the year past and they say, all right, this is my time, this is my year, and I'm going to do this. And a lot of inventors reach out to me and say, I'm ready now, this is it. And the thinking of inventions, I know AI actually is doing that for some people, but that's not new. But people still in their mind think of stuff like they have a problem they can't solve, so they want to create a solution, or they've created their own like kind of crude solution to something, right? And then they say, "Hey, I need help now, and I want to develop the product, or what do I do next?" And that has not changed at all. In fact, it's more of it because now that you introduce AI into the picture, now it's just even more information, and but they need somebody, a human, to break it down. And people
Yeah.
still feel more comfortable talking to a person than relying solely on
Yeah.
Chat GPT, Claude, whatever people are using. I use a few things, and you and I were just talking offline. Like, I love it from an admin standpoint. It helps me to write up some things quicker. I still write all my own posts. I keep getting people saying, "Do you AI all your posts? You're on social media so much." I'm like, I swear I write everything still myself. I tried it a couple of times, but then I spent more time
Yeah.
changing it and I know it's supposed to intuitively learn how you are, blah blah blah. But
No.
I still write my own material, people, so that still has not changed. But in the world of inventing, we kind of like thinking about what's next, what's coming up this year. I think we can't ignore the AI part of this, especially when it comes to patents and trademarks. And there'll be laws and rules and ways that things get sort of disseminated, when it comes to technology. But people are still reaching out to me for the same things. They want to get a product developed. They want to license it. They don't know how to find the money they need. They want to partner up. They want to crowdfund. They want to do this. They want to do that. That is still at the core of inventing. As far
Yeah.
as what I'm seeing, I'm not sure what if you've seen that same thing to start the year, but I'm getting the same stuff that I was getting the year before.
Yeah, no, I'm right with you. I love this whole cars and podcasts theme you have going on, by the way.
New If people wanted a new background, they're getting it. They're getting my rear view.
This is the real deal. As long as you're not driving, it's okay. But no, I get the same thing. I love I love, and I like to use the word hate. It drives me crazy at the end of the year because I get tons of people that want to make sure they're set up for the beginning of the year. But in reality, it's just a date. It's just a time. And the inventing world, the product development world, all of this, it should be a plan, and it's a 24-hour, 365-day world, and if people haven't moved forward with their ideas yet because of whatever they're worried, or they're worried about their patent, or they're worried about moving forward. I mean, it's a great time to just take stock of that. And like you say, Jim, get going, don't wait, right?
Right. And one of the things I've been telling people lately, especially again, and I know AI is going to wind up becoming the focus of this discussion because it's important, right? It's in our face. We cannot hide from it anymore. I tell people, if you have an idea for something, a good way to use AI in the beginning. So Carmine, you come to me, Jim, I got an idea for a widget. And, I've been in a couple stores. I went on Amazon. I see some other products. You always have to do your research, right? You got to walk into places, you got to go online, you got to see what's out there, you get patent searches, all the things we always talk about. But when I tell people how they can use like Chat GPT, for example, is they can do some market research on there, and it's definitely efficient. So they can plug in like, okay, I've got this widget. What other widgets are like my widget out there? And even though somebody thinks their invention is completely novel, most of the time, there's always something out there that's somewhat similar that competes, right? Like even if it's not directly a copy of yours, there's things that people buy that are like what you have. So you can do that research, right? Like it's so easy to do, and you become more knowledgeable. And we always talk about how knowledge is so critical in this business to know, to work with inventors who at least have a good basis of knowledge makes it easier for us because we're not spending our entire time educating them. We're spending our time moving them ahead, right? They can learn everything. You can learn about licensing, going to market, CAD, prototyping. It just like you could have Googled it. It's not really that different in that regard, but they can do some market research, see how big the market is, see who their competitors are, and they can be prepared while we figure out how to do the development side, the manufacturing side, the preparing for sales. So I think that's one good tool for inventors to utilize is to do the research portion is more like robust now than it used to be. And they can do that on their own. They don't need me to go shopping for them to see what's out there.
Yeah. I mean, that's Jim. That's such a great part. And I think that you and I share this theory that we love working with clients that have done that research, that know what's really out there, because it's not what we do as much as, we're not marketing experts, or, when people come to you, Jim, you probably get this all the time, this question, what do you think about my product? Or is it, and whether we like it or not, it shouldn't matter that much, because we might not be that target for your product. We might not be that target market. That doesn't mean we can't make it the way you need it, or reach out to the right people who can put it on the store shelves. Yeah. But, asking us that. So it's so great when we have those clients that have done that research, that have that knowledge, because when we ask them a question and they can answer it, it helps us, right? It helps us not only with development and design, and even you, Jim, who you're going to reach out to talk to.
Right. Yes, we say the educated inventor is the best inventor.
Yeah.
And you have the ability to empower yourself with a lot of knowledge, but you do need people to break it down, because we talk about context, right? You could read, like I could read about how to build a house, doesn't mean I could actually go out and do it. Yes. Because a lot of it takes experience, right? Like, we've been doing this forever. We know not just what to do, but what not to do. And what not to do is not what's presented to you, right? So like, okay, so to prototype a product, you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, what happens when you're on step 2 and something doesn't work? That's not listed, right? So the experiences the real world experiences where we say, hey, look, you can do these things, but if something goes wrong here, here's now plan B and here's plan C. And things like AI, I'm not sure are that intuitive yet to do that. I mean, you can plug those scenarios in, but it's context. There's a real world component to all of this that can't be replicated. You just can't. And it's a slippery slope when people say, well, what do you think of my product? I'm like, well, I'm a pusher, not a user here. Like I'll exude the passion when it comes to getting it in front of retailers and saying, look, we've got something great for you. But it may not be for me.
Yeah.
Like, okay, it's a hair accessory, like I'm out, like I don't I may not even really like what it looks like, but if it can sell and you can make money from it and you're happy with it and it's helping people, that's what matters. That you're getting into this inventing business to make money. I mean, and then there's no shame in that, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But if you want to do that and focus on that, and you're going to spend money to develop your product, then what you should be concerned about when you work with me is that how can I maximize your spend? How can I get the most money out of what you've spent? And if that just means I'm connecting your product to Target or Walmart or Costco or Home Depot or whatever, that's all you should be concerned about. I'm not going to say, oh, hey, buyer at Target, I don't really like this product, but hey, why don't you take a look? Like, nobody does that, right? Like, I'm going to just say, hey, I've got this great product. I get this great hair accessory. It's great. We've been selling some online, or we just developed it. And we did a focus group or consumer surveys, and we have a pre-order on the website. Whatever we do to present it, and we think it would be great, and your customers might really like this as a supplement to what you're already selling. And these are the types of things that we do that distinguish ourselves from just getting emotional over it. Like, I don't have to be like, oh my God, I love it. Like, no, like, I just want to help you sell it. And that should be good enough. And that's a business decision, Carmen. Some people get upset and they say, well, I want you to be all in with me on it. I'm like, then I'm not your guy, because I'm not going to fake. I'm telling you like it is. And if you want to, if my question to you is, do you want to make money at this? Is your goal to make money and to see your product succeed? Yes. Well, then let me do my thing that I've been doing for 30 years and follow the process. I mean, that's how it works.
Yeah. I mean, it's so funny you say that. Just like when you hire an attorney, the attorney isn't related to you, hopefully, whatever. So the attorney takes the emotion out of it. And he does what's best for the client, for you. Just like Jim is saying that, in a sense, it doesn't matter. It matters, of course. Jim cares, but he's going to take that emotion out of it and get you the best, deal, or the best contract, or the best licensing, or the best manufacturing, because he's saying this is a business decision. He's taking emotion out of it. So yeah, Jim, 100%. I mean, what you're saying, 30 years of experience all rolled up into that. One, sentence that you said. Yes. Do we like products? We love products. It's what we do. But
I mean, we see a lot of great fun things, but we don't have to be the most excited. Actually, you should be the most excited. It's your baby. Like, we could like your baby or just think your baby's okay. But hey, if we're trying to get your baby somewhere, don't worry, we'll take care of it. We'll do it, and we'll put a smile on our face, and that's okay. Like, and the other thing, Carmen, I'm seeing a lot of already, and this was really pervasive last year, and it's already starting this year, is licensing just continues to become like an ask. Like, I've done more licensing stuff this past year or last 2 years than I've done collectively ever. And I think people, another discussion, another podcast, but it's a little misunderstood. People just still think it's easy. They're like, I don't want to run a business. I don't want to run a product business. So I just want to license, as if it's like, oh, I want to just eat here instead of there. It doesn't work that way. Licensing is, even for me, is tough. It's hard getting deals. I had like 2 good deals in the works last year out of like 20 plus licensing shots at it. It's hard, and it's not because the products aren't worth it. These companies are multi-billion-dollar companies. They get like 100 people a day reaching out to them. They're busy. You can't follow up with them every 3 days.
Yeah.
Chances of success are small. It's like single digits, maybe 10%. Like, it's really hard, and that's for us. like if you don't know what you're doing,
Yeah.
like less than 1%. And so I keep trying to steer people a little towards like, why don't you get into some small batch manufacturing? Why don't we try to get it out there a little? Go to direct to consumer first. Do show that it's viable, because then when you go to a company and you say, hey, I've been selling, you know, 2 grand a month of this thing, or 500 pieces a month, or I'm on Amazon or whatever, then you're mitigating the risk for this company. Now they're like, oh, all right, that person's already kind of done the hard work of getting it out there, and we're just going to, it's like passing the torch in a running race.
Yeah.
You're running, you hand it off to me, and now I'm going to take it the rest of the way. And that's what companies prefer. I mean, wouldn't you? If I'm a company and you came to me cold, said, hey, I just got this great idea. Well, I got to do all the risk. I got to do all the product development. I got to spend that 6 to 12 months doing all that stuff. But if you come to me and say, hey, I already did all that, and it's patented or trademarked or whatever, and hey, we've been selling it a little bit, or we're selling it locally, you've done all the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
Now I'm willing to really look at this for a licensing opportunity, because you're handing this to me to some degree on a silver platter. And so I'm getting a lot of that. And still, the other thing I'm seeing going to this year is people, a lot of like pitch deck stuff, and like investing and angel investing in VCs. And, people still don't understand the difference between an angel investor and venture capital, and, like private equity. Like, they don't understand it, and grants and all that stuff. And these are all tools you have available to you. But even crowdfunding is tricky. It's very difficult. You got to basically almost spend money to make money there. It's kind of almost like counterintuitive, like,
Mm.
oh yeah, I don't have money, but I need to spend money so I can make money. But
Yeah.
that's what I'm seeing. It's just the licensing thing is a big thing, and I'm trying to teach more people how to try to do it themselves than for me to do, because when I don't succeed, they say, well, this sucks and you didn't get anywhere. And I'm like, well, I told you it was hard. I told you it was hard. And my agreements say it's difficult. Your chances are you will not succeed. It's hard getting deals, but I'll take a shot for you, knowing that. And when it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I mean, I do what I can do, and I
Yeah.
can't force anything down someone's throat. I can put it in front of the right people. If they don't respond, they don't respond. And I know I tell a lot of inventors they can do that themselves. Where they fall short is the negotiating the term sheet. When a company says, yeah, we're interested and here's our terms, and then they look at it and they're like, I don't know, and then they try to AI it, and then they get more confused, and blah blah blah. So yeah, I'm seeing a lot of that to start the year.
Yeah. Yeah. Jim, I don't want to say the word funny that you say that, but yeah, I've noticed, and not all inventors, just never all, but a
Mhm.
lot of inventors, they come on board very patient with me, and then they lose their patience so quickly. And I'm like,
Mhm.
what happened here? I mean, I have a client that's super pissed off at me right now. I said, this product is pretty intense. It's going to be 3 months to a year before we really get this thing where we're mass
Mhm.
manufacturing it.
Right.
We get started, and in 2 months, he's like, hey, I got to bail out. It's not happening fast enough. It's like, what? You
Yeah,
know?
it's and that's why I was actually, I think I am sure I posted about this in the last couple of weeks about managing expectations.
Yeah.
Like, and you have to tell people, you have to then write it out. And I hate to say this, but in any business, that's how you have to sort of cover yourself. You have to let people know. I think that transparency and the communication is all you can offer. If you tell somebody it's going to take 3 to 6 months or 6 to 12 months, and it could take longer, and that there's going to be ups and downs, and there might be, you might as well throw in 10% extra for unexpected costs and changes that you make. And if it's funny, I look at my agreements with clients. They used to be like this big, now they're this big, because I made the disclaim, or the warning section, or the that area of my agreement used to be like a small paragraph. Now it's like three, because I don't want people to say they weren't told or aware of the risks and the timelines, and that we can't always control. Like, hey, if you go to a factory, Carmine, and you think it's going to take them 30 days to start the project, but then they email you 2 weeks later and say, hey, we've got a big paying client already that we've been working with for 2 years. they had a big order from a chain store. We got to fulfill that first. We'll get to yours now in 4 weeks. Can you control that? No. You have zero control. What are you going to do? Go find another factory? I mean, that takes a month alone. So
Yeah.
these are the things that crop up all the time, and people have to understand that. I understand everyone's anxious, they're excited, they're paying money, so they want to, but this isn't like, you go to a restaurant, you eat, you pay the bill, you leave, and it's done. Like there's like 100 moving parts, and you're relying on sometimes dozens of other people to work on something, and not everybody moves at the same pace, and not everybody communicates at the same pace, and inventors need to know this going into this year, that it almost always takes longer than you think, and you have to stay the course. Is it frustrating, as annoying as it can feel, or you feel like you're not getting attention? It's not that you're not getting attention, it's just that some things are out of everybody's control, and you just have to stick with it. And that's a big piece of this. It is a game of patience to a great degree.
Yeah, and that's why I was glad to have you. And you do such a great job. I mean, I'm not a good communicator, but I want to point out to anyone that's listening, Jim goes overboard to communicate to people how it's a tough business. Are you sure you want to get into this? It's not easy.
Yeah.
I mean, Jim, basically, you're like telling people you shouldn't do this, but if you want to, I'm the best to do it.
Yeah, like it's a risk no matter what. I'll just minimize your risk to a degree, but you just, it that's how it is, and people have to understand that. I think that's the big takeaway from here today, is that, look, technology is your friend, AI can be your friend. Learn how to use tools that are available to you. Get educated. We say it all the time. Learn the process. Talk to other inventors. They'll tell you. We're not just saying this ourselves. Talk to other inventors, and they'll all tell you almost always the same thing. It took forever. It took years. It cost me more than I thought. Oh, we just when everything was going right, something went wrong. Oh, we had the product come in, and even though we all approved it, something was broken, or the color was off, or the packaging was dented, or oh God, we went in and oh, there was a tariff thrown in there.
Yeah.
Now, and it's like, and because it takes so long to get a product to market, the more time that it sits up there, the more time for things to go wrong, right?
Correct.
Like, so that's a big thing that going into this year, the inventors have to learn, is that you got to do your best to just exude a little more understanding and patience with this process. It's not that you're not getting attention. It's just that sometimes we do a bunch of things quickly and we can get them done. And then it's like a hurry up, and then it's a wait. Like, okay, now we got to wait, 5 weeks for something to get made. Okay, well, yeah, we could try to do a couple things in between, but really sometimes you just got to sit in a holding pattern, and you just got to wait for the next thing to happen. And then all of a sudden it's a mad rush again. Oh, we got the samples. The parties. Oh, we got to change this. Oh, we got to do that. And then it's like, oh, hurry up. It's like a da 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 da. And then eventually
Yeah.
then it starts to go. But along the way, it's the proverbial roller coaster. Expect the ride to have its ups and its downs, hopefully more ups than downs. But if you know that's coming, it doesn't make it fun, but at least you know it's coming. It's like a rainy day, right? Like, it's going to rain one day this week. I don't know, and it's probably going to be Thursday or Friday, but at least I know, and I can have my umbrella handy, and I can watch stuff on TV inside or do other things. And I can prepare myself. Even though I don't want a rainy day, it's going to happen. You might as well just sort of just prepare for it and suck it up and just get through it. Because then, the next day it's sunny out again, and then you get back to doing your thing.
Yeah. And the good part about what you're saying, Jim, and not to brag, but working with a seasoned professional, I mean, the years I have, the years you have, when these things happen, we might not throw up our hands and freak out because we're used to things happening. We are just going to say, okay, this is how we repair that. This is how we fix that.
Mm-hmm.
This is how we... Working with somebody who all of a sudden they're an invention expert that has been doing this for a year, they're going to have a problem navigating those issues as they arise. So, Jim or I might go, holy shit, what are we going to do now? Because we've seen a lot of these things and we know we're kind of prepared. So that's another reason for working with people that have this time, have this experience. I mean, Jim's taken hundreds of products to market. I've taken hundreds of products to market. Don't think these things just are happening to you. They've happened to almost every product that you see
Yeah,
behind me.
all the time. Even with my own products, when I had my
Yeah.
own company, it was like that. And that's why I know firsthand. I'm not, again, we're not just preaching, we've lived this stuff
Yeah.
ourselves. So I know it, and that has not changed. That has not changed in 30 years. It hasn't changed at all. We're still human. Things go wrong. Things go right. You deal with them. You communicate. You do your best to fix stuff. You rally everybody, and you move ahead. If you want to get it done, you find a way to get it done. If you want to complain and whine about everything and throw your hands up, well, then that's your choice too. But that's your choice. Our choice is to figure out a way to make it happen, and we usually know how to remedy it. Sometimes it just takes time to do that. That's it.
Yeah.
It's just, so that's the theme. It's like
Yeah.
AI, learn it, understand the process, have, understand you need to be a little more patient. Licensing is not easy. Going to market's not easy. But you gotta just play in the sandbox a little, test stuff, try stuff. Because short run manufacturing is good. Don't get 80,000 pieces of
Oh God.
something.
Yeah. Oh my
First run
God.
is, so a lot of times you want to fix something and get it out there, sell it online, sell it locally. Like, then we reach out to some big retailers, see, test the waters, and it's all a process, and that's the theme. And licensing works better generally when you've got some momentum already. Doesn't mean you still can't, or we can't get you a licensing deal just from the idea, because you can, and I have, and we do. But if you ideally can develop, produce, market, and sell some stuff on your own a little bit, it increases your
Huge.
odds even more.
Huge increase. And there's no doubt. And Jim, it that's one thing I love about technology. It's not as hard as it used to be to just kind of start selling your product. You might not sell thousands, but being able to sell that and getting feedback from people while you're selling your product, it's a little bit easier in this day and age.
Yeah, it is, and again, it's all the technology. It's all, everything's virtual, everything's digital. Everything, somebody still has, a human still has to make a buying decision, still. So getting them, like creating a sell sheet, you can do quickly now, and doing a deck, you can do quickly now, and doing all those things, you could, the visual stuff like a website, you can get a website whipped up, quickly, and that's the great thing about technology. But a person is still going to review the product.
Yes.
That's not, hasn't changed yet. Who knows what it will go. But for now, that's how it's working. So, and I haven't heard anything about retail buyers being replaced by machines, although would it surprise me? Well, probably not. But
Yeah.
and then we'll all have nothing to do. So, whatever. But yeah. So it's some good stuff for the new year, and be interesting to see, what types of products come out, and and how the year kind of shakes out in terms of like the tariff situation and retail, and all the stuff that we talk about every year.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt, man, no doubt about it. So real quick, somebody out there is listening. They have an idea. They haven't really done anything. They've been thinking about it for a couple of years. What should they do before they get in touch with you? Is there something, a few things that you would like to see them do, or should they reach out to you right away and you tell them what to do, or what do you think they should do? I know we talked about the AI thing and everything, but like two or three things they should do before they reach out to
Yeah,
you.
I mean, like I said, get educated. I mean, like you run the United Inventors Association. It's like basically free for the most part, at least initially, if you want to get all the basics. And there's all these podcasts and webinars and things available to you. You can go, and learn what it's about. Like, listen to stuff like we're talking about today. We're talking about the real stuff that goes on, right? Learn. Then the next thing you do is, yes, reach out to me. I always like when people reach out to me right away, because I
Yeah.
can at least, even if I never talk to them again, I say it all the time, like, hey, I'll at least give you a couple of pointers or tips, or like I can get you set off in the right direction. Like, just, like, ask a couple of questions, I'll answer them. And if that's enough to get you going, that's fine. Like, if you don't use me, talk to me ever again, that's cool. No worries. But at least I want to help people get on the road and get going, instead of just sitting around going, oh, I've been thinking about this for 12 years. And I'm like, get started. And that means just reaching out to somebody, anybody that's qualified to talk to to just get some advice going. And I think that's it. Those are the basics.
Yeah. And the main thing, and just being nice about this, is don't ask your neighbor or ask somebody that really hasn't taken a product to market. I have friends. I'm on the US IPA. I'm on the Florida Intellectual Property Authority. I'm on the United States Intellectual Property Authority. My friends are IP attorneys. Don't ask an IP attorney about business decisions. So don't go and spend all your money on getting a patent right away, or spend all your money because somebody told you to. Talk to somebody who has actually taken products to market, and you could spend your money and your time and your resources at the right time, at the right place, in the right sequence. Because, Jim, a lot of times doing things out of sequence, to me, that's the killer of ideas.
Yeah, it's costly. And when there's steps. Like I say, people go to my website. There's like a bunch of steps. They're in bullet. Like, do this first. Like, do a patent search first. People go out and they file or attempt to file for patents. They haven't even, and like they'll try to do it themselves, or they'll say, "Oh, I didn't see anything on Amazon, so there must not be any patents pending." Like, no. And then they order stuff on their own, and then they fill up the whole house with it, and then they're like, "Oh wow, this is actually a copy of somebody else's stuff." And yeah, they're like, just check. It's not hard to check. It's not hard to ask somebody who's qualified, just like what not to do, if anything else. Like, don't do this. Don't patents. Like, a lot of people file for them. They don't necessarily always need them. Like, people do all kinds of stuff because they see stuff online, and they're not really, most of that is not people who have done it or have experience with it. So yeah, you got to just watch who you talk to and who you get advice from. And AI is your friend, but AI is just, it's not somebody who can give you the real, like, what happens or how it's happened, in real situations. So.
Yeah, use it as a tool, 100%. But you talk to people that know before you take that big leap, before you do that. If you take your product to market in the right sequence, you'll have such a better chance at it selling, at it becoming a product, at it becoming on the stores or getting licenses, because you will have the resources still left to do those things. It's, my God, Jim, at the United Inventors Association, I'm glad you mentioned that. We hear horrible stories about people spending $10, $20, $50, $60,000 and they got nothing. They might even have a provisional patent and they have a drawing. And I'm like, oh my God, And they waited 2 years. And not only did they wait, they use all their funds, but they've got the time that they wasted.
Yeah, I know. Our existence is getting emails from people who've been through that. It still goes on all the time. It's amazing to me.
Yeah, and that's why we have these. That's why we have these. So, all right, Jim, listen, man, I appreciate it. I know we're going to kind of close the show up, but I wanted to do this first show of the year with you because, you are a staple in not only the inventor industry, business, entrepreneurship, licensing, buy retail. So, you've really been in this industry a long time. And I really applaud everything that you're doing for the innovator community. I don't even like to pigeonhole your knowledge with inventors because you do so much.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I mean, like I said, I just try to, like, I'm doing this a long time, and I'm more and more trying to just share a lot of what I know, and sort of opening the vault more and letting people get in on my experiences and like what's worked for me and what it used to be like and what it's like now. And yeah, it's nice to be able to, most people we communicate with, Carmine, won't work with us, not for any other reason. You just, people, but there's a lot of silent, like, observers, and they read our posts and they listen, and I get a lot of people that say, I've been reading your stuff for 5 years or 7 years or 3 years, and I've done everything you've said about posting. And I'm like, that's really nice to hear that. Like, they're doing good things and they've never talked to me before. And they're not saying they want to hire me. They just wanted to let me know that I've encouraged them or I've given them tools, and they're doing it. I'm like, that's awesome. Like, that's really a nice feeling to get,
It is. It is great to hear. I mean, we don't do it just for that. I mean, just because we love this industry. And hey, listen, we're in business, but we want our clients. We want the people we know. I mean, Jim does a lot of free things, not doing it to make money. He volunteers his time. He volunteers just doing this. So we love business. We love inventing. We love this whole industry. So reach out to one of us. Like Jim said, join United Inventors Association. We have tons of people. Jim's an advisor. He's on the advisory board for the UIA. So join in, ask questions. There's nothing wrong with asking questions before you go and take that leap, whether it's putting down funds or filing a patent or whatever you're doing. Ask the right people the questions, and you'll get those right answers. You might not like the answers, but it's okay, because there's always a solution if you get the right information.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Good,
okay.
Good deal.
All right, Jim, we're going to close up the show. For all you listeners out there, Happy New Year again. Again, this is our first show for the January 2026. We thank you all for sticking with us for these 8 seasons, and go on out to Google Play, iTunes, or wherever you consume your podcast content. Leave us a review, a rating. Don't forget to subscribe to the show, and we will catch you next time on the Launchpad. You all take care.